pork barbecue just melts in your mouth and everybody wants it. So easy to make too, it does take time. So the quick and easy meals, it's quick and it's easy prep, but it takes about 6 to 8 hours in the oven or on the grill. But let me show you about seasoning. You want to get the pork shoulder, pork butt, Boston butt, different names for it. And this is a half of one because I cooked the other half last night. Since this is called quick and easy meals, we're going to do the whole thing within this time frame, but it took about 8 hours to cook. So anyway, I'm going to make a dry rub to go with this. Now, actually, I'm going to remove the glove I'm just holding on to and get some of the seasonings. You want to have in this dry rub a little bit of kosher salt, about 3 tablespoons. This is online, the recipe, so no worries. A tablespoon of garlic powder. And I'm eyeing it, you can tell, so it's whatever works. Paprika, about 3 tablespoons. 1, 2, 3. And then a little bit of dry mustard, about a tablespoon of that. We'll shake that in. And then we want about a tablespoon of brown sugar. So it's sweet and spicy, both. And then with a little bit of the salt. You could add pepper to that as well. There's the brown sugar. So that's the mixture, simple. And then I'm just going to rub this on the roast, all over the pork roast. And rub it in. And then we're going to wrap this with plastic wrap and let that marinate for an hour or overnight. But let me tell you a secret. If you don't want to have it marinate, you don't want to have it sit there for so long, just throw it right in the oven or on the grill. And no worries. Because we're also making a barbecue sauce. This just layers the flavors. You know, as you get seasonings on meats at different times, it layers the flavors and just adds another element. But like I say, if you don't want to spend the time doing this, it's not going to ruin your roast. Okay, there you go. Then I'm going to take a little plastic wrap and wrap that around, seal those juices in there and those seasonings, and let that sit in the fridge now for an hour or so. And then we'll pull it out and throw it in the oven. Just that simple. So that marinated long enough in the fridge for about an hour. I'll remove the plastic wrap. I also took this back out of the fridge, so I'm not sticking it right into the oven cold. It's been sitting out again for another hour. If you don't have time for that marinating and all that, just season and throw it in the oven and you'll be okay. So temperatures at 300 degrees. You could even do 250. And I'm going to let that bake now for about 6 hours till it's falling apart. There are all kinds of barbecue sauces you can do with pulled pork. I'm doing a North Carolina style, which is a mop sauce, so it's more vinegary and very thin. So it's almost like a au jus, a little thicker than an au jus for roast beef. But you can do a Kansas City style and have it really thick, and I'll talk about that as I make this up. But for this mop sauce, let me show you how easy it is. It calls for a lot of vinegar. So I've got a cup and a half or so of cider vinegar, and I'm going to heat this, so I'm putting it into a saucepan. So there's a cup and a half, approximately. And then I want a little bit of mustard, and half a cup to a cup, and it's spicy mustard. So I've got that just going in there. Yum. And then same amount or so of ketchup, half a cup of ketchup. This is not thick and sticky like a normal, you might consider a normal barbecue sauce. For that, we'd add almost all the same ingredients, but less vinegar. Okay, then I'm going to season this up with a little bit of cayenne. Make it a little hot, so that's a pinch. And then I want to have some garlic. And that's about 2 cloves minced. That's almost a tablespoon. So then I'm going to heat this on the stove and let that just cook, and it's as easy as that. Like I say, it's kind of like the au jus. We're going to drizzle it over some coleslaw that we'll put on top of the pulled pork, And you could do the sticky kind of barbecue sauce though too if you like. Okay, I'll heat this up. I also want to sweeten this with a little brown sugar and do this on the heat so that it melts and dissolves that sugar. And I want about 1/2 cup. And go by taste. As this cooks and it gets to the point of where you're going to serve it, taste it. Add more sweetening if you want. Make it more spicy if you want. If you want that smoky taste, add, just a shake or two of liquid smoke. That's always good in a barbecue sauce. Don't use too much of that though, by the way. Just a shake or two. It's kind of like in a jar of Tabasco sauce. Just shake, shake, and your liquid smoke adds just that smoky flavor. And it's just that simple. So you can get this done ahead of time while the roast is cooking, or if you're going to have it the next day, make it up the next day, whatever works. Okay, after that 8 hours and your pork is just falling apart, you want to do that. You want to shred it and have it fall apart. Now this one is cooled and ready for me to handle. Like I said, I cooked this other half. This is the other half of the roast. And so you just want to remove the fat and then start pulling those yummy pieces of pork and shredding them into your bowl. And then we'll layer it with some of that yummy mop sauce we made, barbecue sauce, and serve it up with some coleslaw on a nice hearty wheat roll. Okay, mop sauce is done, or barbecue sauce, again, whatever you like. If you have a favorite bottled barbecue sauce, you can just use that in here. But see how thin? Over here, I'll just pour. This is a thin, and it's very, very vinegary. So if you're not a vinegar fan, not the mop sauce isn't the one you want. You want something like a sticky barbecue sauce. But I love this mop sauce, so I'm going to spoon a little bit of that in with the pork. And then I love a coleslaw served on my sandwiches, my pulled pork sandwiches. And so if you do too, you can use it. This is just dry. You can actually put some of the mop sauce on. You can make a traditional coleslaw, which I have the recipe online as well. Just your classic coleslaw using the mayonnaise and whatnot. But I'm going to leave it with just the bagged coleslaw, which is just cabbage, carrots. You could add onion if you want. Anyway, I'm going to leave it just fresh like this and put it on my sandwich, and then that way it can take away the sharpness of the barbecue, the mop sauce. So I'm just going to put this pork on a dry, and I like the wheat. You can use a white bun. Drizzle a little bit. In fact, no, I'm going to do this first. Put a little cabbage on there, and drizzle a little bit more of the mop sauce. And that will just kind of soak into my bun. A little bit more than that. And there you go. North Carolina pulled pork sandwich. So easy to do, making your own sauce. Great for a summer barbecue. Or again, with it being cooked in your oven or on the grill, you could do that all day on a winter day and have a yummy pulled pork sandwich.